last live, this thing here was malfunctioning. So I threw some extra PPE on, rushed those boards through because the boards got to get done anyway. And then we're just going to go ahead and finish those 4 up on the drum, Mac wheel, and then the orbital. If you have any questions about board making, feel free to ask. We showed the rest of the process on an earlier live. Once again, you can get these boards at lifeskateboard.com. I'm saying once again as if this is one continuous live, but it's not. So, Swifty, thanks for hopping in here. Appreciate you. I've got to go grab my respirator and then we're going to get started. If you enjoy watching this sort of thing, share it with your friends. Thank you, Swifty. Share it with people. I'll be right back. Respirator, where are you? Where'd you go? Just had it. Sorry, guys. This is a live look at what my life is like. There it is. So we've already taken these 4 boards through the belt sander and the edge router. And now we're going to take it to the drum and the orbital. And these are some big boards here. These new ones that came out of the monster press. There's that, so you can see. And we'll start out with the big knucklehead. This guy right here. Here, I'm going to go clear coat my board so you guys get a little peek at what my board looks like here. Oh, I just need my board to be dry and ready to go by the end of the day. Soldier, you like to get on my account and ask the same question over and over again. Worried about skateboards, not anything else. Thank you. Skateboard, sobriety, you know, good things. Not those type of questions. Thanks, though. Ooh. So that's the shaping and pressing room back there. We're walking over to the printing studio. How long is the process of making a skateboard? Mikey P asks. So start to finish, you've got the gluing process, and then you can go back on my last live and see how long that takes. It's not very long. The majority of the process is waiting. You've got 24 hours inside of the press for under pressure, and then 7 days cure time, so 8 days total before the board can be cut out, and then give it a couple days for clear coat, printing, things like that. We give a 2 to 3 week max turnaround time on custom boards, just in case something happens with the board outside of while it's in the press. If we got to press a new one for you, all that fun stuff. Tell Bluntworks hello, and if he hops on here in a minute, I'll be shaping that 13. I'm just clear cutting my own board right now. Here is my board, my next rider. Had a lot of fun doing the graphic on this. I like to over clear coat my boards a little bit. Flip it around. Over clear coat my bottom and under clear coat my top, get the grip tape to work. Well, Chris can have that board soon, very soon. Thank you, G. Appreciate you. All right, so now we're gonna hop back in here and go continue shaping boards. I'm excited to set that board up, but I'm waiting on some DKL grip tape to come in the mail. Mikey, this is my job, so you can watch. That's why I'm here on my live. Just remember, it's my job. It's a pretty cool job. Always gonna be even better when there's more sales going on. We're gonna put you in timeout, buddy. You get to ask, but you don't get to speak. Okay, soldier? That's how that's gonna work. You get to watch, but you don't get to open your mouth. All right. So now that one's done on the drum. We're gonna put you guys back over here. What's up, Dylan? If you guys don't know, XCXDXK just posted a great video with all the locals in Lawrence and Indianapolis area. Rachel has a good part in there. I liked that. And Rachel has a great message to all the female skaters in the Midwest at the end of that video. Should check that out. It's a pretty good video. Not much, man. Thanks for hopping in here. Feels bad. All right, let me get to these questions here. It was a great ending to that video. There are all kinds of boards. These aren't just surf skateboards. These are boards for everybody. As you can see, we've got over 77 shapes here. If you go to lifeskateboard.com, you can get exactly what you want. We got Survival Luke saying that he sees surf skateboards. Well, you see, let me just show you real quick what we got here. We just have everything. No, we don't need to make fingerboards. You guys got that handled with your fingerboard operations. But as you can see, we've got shapes all over the place here. These are shapes, not boards, just the templates. All kinds of stuff. This is the one I designed, and it's really fun. We have thought about making fingerboards. There's just so many fingerboard makers out there that it's like, you guys are doing so good with it. Maybe we'll go to handboards. Good example of a fingerboard. Robotop over in the UK. He's a kid that's doing these by hand. He made me my signature shape. Right there. With my graphic on it. Look at that. Super cool. The decks are $70 for popsicles, and then the shape goes up from there. Sorry, the shapes go up from there. If you go to lifeskateboard.com, oh, I can't back up far enough. There we go. Go to lifeskateboard.com. You can check all the prices and check out all the shapes that we've got. There are some shapes that aren't listed on the website. You just go to the Life Instagram for how to order those. I've got two more over here on the drum real quick. And then we're going to hop over to the Mac wheel and then the orbital. And when I get to the orbital, I'll be able to answer a lot of questions. I'm going to have to check out the teaser. And if you guys haven't watched, seriously, go subscribe to Dylan. That's XCXDXK, and I will never remember that, Dylan. But great videos, great documentation of the Indianapolis scene. Always really cool to see somebody get really comfortable behind the camera, and it's been fun to watch Dylan get really comfortable behind the camera. And I love that. Joe said, oh man, what is up with you guys? I don't know you, Kevin, but your concern with what's in my pants is very strange. We're putting you in timeout. I like that. If you make references to it being dill pickle, I'm going to be really happy. But Joe O'Connell said that the concave is insane on these boards. Absolutely, it is insane. We are really proud of our extremely deep concave. Not only does it just feel awesome and lock your feet into place, but the depth of the concave gives the boards end-to-end strength. And I'll explain that really quickly here with a piece of paper. Here, I'll do it with the discs. So we're going to explain physics real quick on why a deep concave adds to the strength of a board. So if I've got this right here and I want to bend it end to end, super easy, right? Super easy to bend that because it's flat and it's straight. But if you take this thing and you curve it, suddenly it becomes really hard to bend. So when you add curvature to something, it gives it end-to-end strength. So that's why we stick with our extremely deep concave. How would I compare it to zero? It's definitely going to be way deeper. That's for sure. Thanks for popping in, Dylan. I'll see you later. The concave is definitely going to be a little bit deeper than zero. Probably more defined as well. Let me pull out a popsicle so you get a good example. So this is a popsicle from Life Skateboards. And you can see the money bumps on there. You can see the bottom of the deck while you're looking straight across it. That's some deep concave right there. Now, if you're getting a board that's under 9 inches, you're going to end up with the option to get a mellow concave or our standard concave. And I would always suggest getting our standard concave. Unless you got really, really flat feet and you need something flat for your feet, get our mellow. But steep concave is really good when it's done well, and this is done really well. I mean, those bumps right there, awesome. All right. Ooh. Great questions, Joe. Holy moly, holy moly. That's another great question. Isn't the shape going to affect tricks? I'm a little confused by exactly what you mean. The shape of the board or the shape of the concave? The steeper your concave, the easier it is to flick off the side of the board. However, shapes themselves are just fun. You don't need a popsicle to do everything. The reason that the popsicle became the standard. Okay, good questions. Yes, we do have them in 7.75. The reason that popsicles became the standard in the industry isn't because it's the easiest thing to skate, it's because it's the easiest thing to make. I can zoom through popsicles in here. That's why they're the cheapest boards. My first shaped board from Life Skateboards was the mid-twin right here. It's got like an hourglassy shape with square nose and tails. And I started to realize that all I had to do is adjust my back foot for flip tricks, and suddenly everything worked. And then I just started designing boards like this one. So this is my signature shape, and if you go to my page, you can see that I'm doing everything on it. Doesn't really matter what shaped board it is, it just matters where your feet are. Holy moly, said, didn't Tony Hawk? Yeah, so Tony Hawk had the, what was it, the medallion was one of his shapes. Thank you, Schnee. But we stick with the full boards and kind of leave the fingerboard production up to all the other guys. However, that we have tossed around the idea of handboards because our scrap is the size of handboards and it would be perfect. But yes, we do have 7.75. We even have youth boards. So if you go on our website and go to the youth section, those boards are just kicks that are closer together. Thank you. I love it in here. This is the shaping room. This is the pressing room. These are all different molds and concaves. And then the printing and shipping studio is in the next building over. I think we just walked over there. I've done 2 lives today, so I can't really remember what I've done and what I haven't. But all right, we are going to go ahead and shape some absolutely massive boards next. Joe just raised a good point. Joe said, I was surprised to see you guys selling decks for cheaper than most big companies, considering the amount of handcrafting that it looks like it goes into the product. That is accurate. Thank you for that realization. Yeah, it's our prices were a little bit over most mass-produced boards, and then the mass-produced boards skyrocketed, and now ours are gonna get back up there. Obviously, wood prices are going up, but yeah, I mean our profit margin is smaller. It's just you got to pay what you got to pay for a board, and we're gonna keep that price right where it's supposed to be, not inflated to what we think it should be. I think the most expensive board from us right now is $140 shipped. That's shipped. And that would be our gigantic boards here. That would be these guys, the 14.2 with good concave. That's the most expensive board you can get from us. T-Dog. Oh, come on now, bud. You're pinning small batch makers against each other. I love C-Rat. C-Rat's doing amazing things down there. I really wish I could see if they're actually pressing their boards, but I absolutely love their stains. C-Rat's awesome. I actually reference quite a few other makers on this channel a bit. There's Black Cat presses. There's Big A skateboards. There's Last Arrow. There's tons of people that are doing it just like we are and trying to rival the industry. There's no... Board pusher sucks. Sorry. You know it's wide. How much for an old school skateboard? Go to lifeskateboard.com and check it out. Popsicles are $70 and shapes go up from there. $79 for the twin and then changes from there. Do you think small batch boards will take over the core of skateboarding at some point outside of kids starting off with sponsored skaters? Thank you. Yes, I do believe that this is going to change. I think what I'm going to make a prediction here, but while I'm making that prediction, I'm going to answer Lars. Here's where they're pressed. Um, so my thought is that the industry is going to start moving back a little bit, because one of the steps that the industry took incorrectly was they automated the heat transfer part of the system instead of they could have automated screen printing. They could have done multiple single presses instead of big stacks of presses. They could have done long press and cure times. They could have done deep concave if they would have planned on automating screen printing. So maybe that happens. Maybe the makers take over. Who knows? All that I know is that we're going to be here for a long time. The website is called lifeskateboard.com. Dang it, I answered the wrong person. Lars, thank you. That is a nice board. But I was letting 192 know that we press the boards ourselves here. But the website is lifeskateboard.com, and I'm gonna get to shaping. While I'm shaping these two, why don't everybody sound off in there? Let us know where you're from. Jose started it off. I'm gonna throw my respirator on and shape these two out. See where everybody said they were from, because that's always fun to read. All right. We got... there were real questions in there. I'm just going to have to go back and enjoy that myself later. Reen said, are you shaving down size or what? No, what I'm doing right now on this step is cleaning up the edge a little bit. So if you don't know the steps of this process, I'll walk you through that really quickly here. Thank you, Yuto. So we have the raw veneer right here. I grabbed 7 of those pieces. It's 5 vertical grains and 2 cross bands. I glue them up by hand right here. Tape them together so that they don't slide around inside the press. And then I load them into the press right here. And they sit there for 24 hours and then cure for 7 days in a stack of their own concave. Once those are cured, you come in here and take one of the uncuts and attach and put the truck holes in on this drill press right here. After we put the truck holes in, we attach the template to that uncut by the truck holes, and these little pieces of hardware right here. Come over here, and we've got the router bit right here. The template runs along this bearing, and the upper part right here cuts out the uncut into the desired shape. Once that uncut is cut out, the edge is not at a 90 to the concave, and it needs to be. So we take it over to this belt sander, set the concave right here, and bring that to a 90. When it's at a 90, it can be cut out into, when it's at a 90, the edge router can catch it, and it'll round off the edge, but not perfectly. And what you were just watching me do is me cleaning that up a little bit. So let me see if I can find a comparison here. I don't think you'll be able to see on video how clean that edge is compared to this edge. Well, there, yeah, you will. So see, it's just not very clean on this one. That's what I'm doing right there. I'm not taking any material off to actually change the shape. I'm just cleaning up the shape that's already been cut. Thank you, Yuto. I'm not a master. I'm just some guy that cares. All right, did we get nose and tail all the way on that? Nice. All right, one more to do on the drum here. Let me get you guys plugged in, or you might die. I don't want any of you to die. There we go. Plugged in. You're at a really annoying angle. Sorry about that. And there you go. All right, I'm going to get to work here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to finish this up. 4 over here on the Mac wheel, and then we'll be on the orbital being able to answer questions. back wheel here. All right. Extension cord was playing with me there. Hey, Camden, thanks for hopping in. Hey, Josh. Hey, Josh. You know me personally. So, as we've said before, and as we've discussed in person several times, we didn't just start getting into the big board companies. We've been making big boards for a very long time. Yes, the bigger boards hopped in. The bigger companies hopped in on making bigger boards. We've been doing it for a very long time. Yeah, we've been doing this one for quite some time. Been doing it right for a while. Slappy made, we had an 11.75 when the largest trucks were 10 inches wide. Let's see, because we had the barge when there was only 10-inch trucks and you had to get Tracker 219s to fit it. And now that they've made a 13-inch, we made a 14-inch, because that's just what we do. Steve, you're pushing my buttons! You want to see something funny, Steve? So here's a shape. I know, you're pushing my buttons, Steve. You know how it is. You want to see something funny, Steve? Which one is it? This one. This shape right here. This is our mid-egg twin. About 2 weeks later, the company you're referring to came out with the same exact shape. But remember, they originate everything, so I can't argue, right? All right, now I'm getting back to shaping. Alrighty. Ooh, and we're going to plug this back in. Yeah, Andrew, that's actually a really cool surprise. That's actually a really cool thing that I've noticed about this board specifically. Let me pull it out of here. So I've got one of these set up right now. Obviously, all of our boards come in a standard 7, but this one's a 6, and it's honestly way lighter than I thought. I'll post it later. I posted it to Instagram. I don't know why I didn't post it as a short on here, it was not hard to tray flip. I've seen Impossible on it already. Kick flip was not bad. Skating transition on it's like surfing. It's super fun. But we're going to go ahead and hop to the orbital sander on all 4 of these here. Yeah, Josh, you are just now noticing. That was what I'm not upset with you, Josh. I'm just using you as a jumping off point. A lot of people just don't notice, and that's just how it is. So I'm always going to be the guy reminding everybody that we've been doing this since 2012. I haven't. I've only been here a few years. But my boss has been busting his ass making these giant boards. Making fun boards, making deep concave, making them by his hand. Started off by himself. He had some help for a little bit. That help left, and then I took their place a few years later. And he's been busting his ass, and I'm just happy to push that out there. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate you. Whew. Lots of stuff going on in Indy. We've got, don't forget, Josh, there's going to be a giveaway for the Coheed and Cambria concert very soon. Lots of stuff going on in Indy. We've got that Coheed and Cambria concert. Let's see, Girls Skate Night's happening at Majors on August 10th. I'll probably be there helping out with the event itself. August 17th is the Coheed and Cambria concert, and then later that month there's going to be a contest down in Columbus, Indiana. That's going to be really fun. Really excited for all this stuff going on, and then obviously we have our Remember November thing in Lawrence, and if I get some time, I'm going to try to get something going in between now and then. I will say my schedule is going to be very, very, very busy. I'm going to be going to that concert on the 17th, and then I'm going to be going out to Pennsylvania to go skate Castle Bam, and then we'll be coming back and going straight out to Cleveland for a big event, and then coming back. Hopefully get some time to throw some stuff in between. If not, you guys get to see some fun stuff in between. I'm going to go ahead and screenshot that, Nathan, so I can hit you up if I'm coming through. Ooh. I do go to Illinois quite a bit. Now that I've got a vehicle that'll travel, I'll be out there. I was supposed to be at the Effingham Jam, but I hit my head the day before. Like a dummy. 50s is not cutting. That one didn't last very long. Joe Connell asks, as a board maker, how do you feel about built-in grip? That's a good question. We don't do that at all here. I understand that it's something for longboards because you generally don't re-grip a longboard and it's going to last a lot longer than a typical skateboard. I personally use decal non-abrasive grip, so it doesn't really work for me. I think that I would like the option to re-grip my board if something were to happen to the grip tape, whether you're learning dark slides or what you're doing. But I put my feet on some of the broken glass kind of thing. When I worked at a skate shop and we had some pre-built longboard completes that had that on there, it feels normal. It just doesn't seem like something that can be redone. You know what I mean? So when it comes to a skateboard, you always want to have something that you can either repair, just replace something on. Is like, let's say you spilled something nasty on your grip tape. Just rip it off and put a new piece on there. Do dark slides work for rubber grip? Yes, they do. Go to the decal account. There is one of their team riders that specifically did dark slides just to prove that. Sell blanks. When you buy a board from us, you're paying for the craftsmanship, not the graphic on there. We're going to include the graphic for the general price of this. So getting a blank from us would just be getting your normal board with a top graphic. Might as well get one with graphics on there. You're looking for one of the smaller wheelbase, 14.1. We can do that. Any of our popsicles for you. You're looking for a twin shape, smaller wheelbase. So yeah, what we would have you do, if you go to lifeskateboard.com, you're going to find the contact information for my boss, and then you'll be in contact with Sam Cook. You can also get a hold of him through the Life Skateboards Instagram. That's at lifeskateboard1010. You can be talking directly to him. And then you just give him your specs on it. Go on the website, check out if we've got a popsicle in your range that you like. Any of the shapes on our website can be turned into twins. Yes, any. even these weird funky ones. If they meet in the middle somewhere, we can twin it. One of our friends of the shop actually got one of these guys twin-tailed for some reason. Why? Because why not? I want to hear this joke. Andrew, I need to hear this joke. That's important. What skateboard would you suggest for a 34-year-old beginner, like shape-wise? Well, I would suggest maybe getting our big twin. That's a symmetrical hourglassy shape with a square nose and tail. It makes you kind of get not locked into the idea that you have to have a popsicle, but you got more surface area on there to be a little bit more comfy. And then when you get your first complete, I would suggest just don't get too specific on what you're getting. Make sure you get quality parts on there. But you're gonna decide what your preference is. For example, I love Ace trucks and I love Slappy trucks. I hate Crux trucks. I don't like Crux at all. I can't skate them. I don't enjoy them at all. However, I got friends like Chuck Bennett that will take Crux truck and make them insane. Like, I mean, it'd be insane skaters with it. I'm sorry. Like, extremely technical. So it's all gonna be. That's funny, Andrew. It's all gonna be your preference. Now, if you wanted to get a complete from us, you go to the website, liveskateboard.com, pick out what shape you want, and then just hit Make My Life Complete. It's going to be the price of the deck plus $110, and then you get all pro parts, and you get yourself a quality complete to start with. You didn't really have a hand in choosing what trucks you got on that one, so then you can start making your preference from there. 28-inch mini cruiser that have been riding much more than the popsicles. I love a square tail too. I like a fishtail actually, because it seems like I can like push against it for big spins and whatnot. Hope that helped you, Wolo. Andrew, I'm gonna be using that joke a lot. I did have a rain session with DKL, and I found out a little bit of moisture makes it super slick. But get the whole thing wet and get your shoes really wet, and suddenly it works like normal. I don't know why. I agree with you, and that's why we're doing it the same way that they used to. I better get going with this. I agree with you. I mean, skateboarding is playing with a toy. So it would be more fun for the thing under your feet to be fun. You know what I mean? Nothing boring. I don't want an empty popsicle stick under my feet. Give me a second here, guys. Be right back. Whew. Oh, by the way, big knucklehead. One of my favorite shapes beforehand. I think I went from the mid-twin to the big twin to the 9-inch knucklehead to the stinger, and then I made my own shape. Where's my drink? It's a Whoopsies. It's a fun one. When I had it, I enjoyed flipping the nose around. I had that board, let's see, I had one of those set up the day I broke my leg. So about three years ago, I think. And I haven't done varial heels since I broke my leg. It's very upsetting. But I remember flipping the board backwards and using the nose for varial heels and varial flips. Just seemed like having that angle just popped it perfect to make the board do a 180. Josh said, do you only skate your pro shape? I skate other shapes for fun. I skate our new shapes to just test them out. I know, Luffy. Don't worry, I'm getting them back. I just have to adjust things. I've got a pin, plate, and screw back here that are messing with the angle of my pop. So I got to figure that out. I got new tricks since then, but I'll get them back. Don't you worry. Thank you. Thanks, Josiah. I'm glad you enjoyed this. That's the majority of my audience. It's alright though. Reynaldo said, you put grip tape. The customer usually puts their grip tape on. That's kind of part of the process of getting your first skateboard is designing your grip tape. And all that fun stuff. Thanks, Luffy. I really hope to be getting them back. I'm starting to get my heel side tricks back, finally. Granted, switch heels are closer than normal heels. We'll get them back. I got them flipping underneath me. The trajectory of the pop is just nah. But don't worry, I'm sure when I land my first one, I'll post it up here to keep track of my progress on it. That's what I tend to do over on Instagram. My latest learn, for some reason, backside big spin. Why did it take me so long to realize that I can turn backside? I don't know. Bro makes boards. You know it. Thanks, Josh. This is actually a replacement right here. So Josh said the best, and I strongly agree. Plus, we stand behind the quality of our work. We guarantee against DLAM here at Life Skateboards. Scott had ordered a bomber for part of the Lori pre-order group, and then he's not too hard on his boards. The nose started to DLAM on it, so he sent us pictures, and of course, that's my fault. So we're replacing it right now with this guy right here. Good morning. Hey, from Queensland. You guys have one of the few factories that does a lot of cool stuff out there, and that's Omniboards. Where is that? I'm sorry, where is what? Omniboards is in Australia. We are in Indiana. Yeah, sorry. We are located in New Palestine, Indiana. The shop was originally located in Muncie, Indiana, and then we popped over to Knightstown for a little bit, and then now we're in New Pal. I live in Indianapolis in the Lawrence area, and I come out here to work. Jiren said, is that the Merca sander? This is the DeWalt sander that is a piece of crap, but it'll make thousands of boards before it craps out on me. And that's what matters. What's kind of funny, Jiren, is that we could have this hooked up to a really, really nice orbital, but we don't really want to put that orbital through the damage that the edge sanding and everything would cause. So we actually have this DeWalt super cheap orbital hooked up to a really nice Festool vacuum system. Funny, isn't it? Congratulations, Ronaldo. Just keep skating. That's how you get there. For the strength differences, like you said, it's pretty obvious. It's just weight. It's crazy to imagine how much one ply actually changes the weight. I wish I had a scale here because I have a 6 ply and a 7 ply of the same shape, and this one is the 7 significantly heavier. But because, like we talked about, this being a wider board and deeper concave, it's extremely strong for it being a 6 ply. And I am a heavy-footed person, so. It is lightweight. Welcome to you too, buddy. Oh, Abracadabra came on here to try to assume that I'm on hard drugs. So, thank you for the jumping off point. I'm an addict in recovery. So 6 years ago, I gave up alcohol, and 4 years ago, I gave up everything else. If you need any help with giving up any substances or getting through things like that, we'll be able to help you out if you'd like, Abracadabra. But that's all right. I'm here for you. I'm pretty open about my past use and my recovery, just to hopefully help people out, because in my opinion, your existence on this earth is a collection of your impact on this earth. And if your impact is just negative, why were you here? You know what I mean? So if negatives happen to you, turn them into a positive and use them to help people. And that's how it works. I hope you have a better day, abracadabra. But yeah, I'm right here for you, making skateboards, bright and sober. And I'm not ashamed of my past. Alistair's here. Everybody, say hi to Alistair. It's important. Abracadabra, you lost your importance. Alistair is here, and I haven't seen him in a long time. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Bathtub Larry missed you. When I started doing lives on YouTube, there were 2 subscribers that were always on there, and that was Roger and Alistair. Roger got a job where it changed his schedule a little bit, and he pops on here every once in a while. But Alistair's been on here making some lore for a very long time. Yep, he's making lore about Bathtub Larry, the McRib. Who are the other people? I think you like created a religion to the McRib at one point. Well, since you've been on here, Alistair, my lives have gotten a little bit bigger. So enjoy. I wish I could just like give badges to people because Alistair deserves one. And don't worry, guys, I did give him a warning. You know, I warned him, with a name like Alistair, you better be really careful starting off a cult, even if it's a joke. But he did it right, you know, to the McRib. Anyway, back to board making. We just got these last 2 here, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, hop in here. That's hilarious, Alistair. Yeah, we're going to do the 6-ply and then the 7-ply. And if you want one of these gigantic boards, head over to Life Skateboards on Instagram. It's Life Skateboards 1010. There's instructions on how to get them. Glory to the McRib. Don't make me hungry, dude. Alistair, I genuinely don't know what to believe from you. Like, much like a cult leader, I don't know much about you. Strangler asked, "Did you get the router fixed?" So now it's story time. No. So what that thing is doing is the blade's going out, the bearing inside of it's going out. So when I turned that thing off, there were sparks. But I had to finish 4 boards. So what I went ahead and did was I put those four boards through the router, threw a bunch of extra PPE on, and it's not something that I would want you guys to see. That's why, because bad things could have happened, but I care about getting the route. I care about getting these boards out. So we went ahead and rushed those 4 through, and tomorrow we're gonna have that repaired. Thank you for tuning back in, those stranglers. It's pretty scary. Yeah, I'm glad. I needed to finish these up. I felt bad not being able to work and then not being able to finish the boards that needed to be finished because of equipment. So I went ahead and risked myself a little bit to get them over with, and it was worth it. I got all my fingers. I got all my eyeballs. We're here. All right, Alistair, you've given us 2 different weights. Yeah, I always got to check. I got 10 here. My boss has 9.5. Or wait, no, he has 8.5. Sorry. So we always got to do finger checks. My name is Patrick. I don't know any area. Steve Erickson? Do I have a doppelganger today? Do I have a doppelganger named Eric? Alright, inform me. Who is this Eric that I look like? I need to know. Patrick, I believe that Alistair has said that he's in a mobility scooter. We've heard a lot of stories from Alistair. We choose to believe all of them, in fact. All right. So there's one of those 6-ply monster, massive boards. There we go. It's all right, Patrick. You're here. That's all that matters. Because now when somebody calls and says, "Is this Life Skateboards?" I can just hand the phone over to you and go, "No, this is Patrick!" And then it'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be all right. Sorry, I haven't been able to yell all day. That was nice. That felt good. Getting near the end of the workday, and that usually means I'm tired. Sorry I'm yelling at you guys. That's fair. That's fair. Does it have a wing? Should it? Oh, are you referring to the snake that's coming off the side of my face? Sorry, Jacobo. That's a snake. You just weren't looking. It's a snake. Slithery snake. Last one. It could have a wing. I could do little twisties on here if I wanted to. But I don't really want to look like Richie Jackson anymore. Caught that one just in time. If you want to come to my account and put racial slurs on my account, you can go somewhere else. Thank you. He do. I just don't like him too much. I used to look very, very similar, and I used to tell him that I was his son on a regular basis. Pretty sure our like message thread is just me being like, Dad, Dad, Dad. But sorry, that threw me off. That is so weird. I can't understand the mentality of getting behind just like going out on the internet and just spreading hate. Like, I just do not get that. Well, yeah, I like him. I just don't like some of his recent choices. What statement? I was a big fan right up until the pandemic happened. Then it kind of started showing true colors. I didn't like that. I don't know. I'm not down for making anyone feel uncomfortable to be on a skateboard. And as soon as someone starts to try to make people uncomfortable to be on a skateboard, especially when it's for who they are, still skating in your 40s. Nice. Where am I from? I'm from Indianapolis. The Tony Hawk board or the polo getup? Look at that. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. The reason I'm wearing this right now is because I forgot I was wearing it. And this morning I filmed a short that like had two of me in the same shot. So I had to wear this on top of the t-shirt I wore in the other one. Hey, thank you, mainly. I'll have to check out your account later. Absolutely. I thought you were talking about the Steve skate explosion. Alistair said, glory to the McRib. I'll hail the McRib. Manly said, do you sell boards? Yes, we do. alifeskateboard.com. If you go over to that website, you'll be able to check out everything we got. What do you think of the Andy Anderson board design? I think it's super similar to our mid-twin. Check that out on our website. I think skates are fun. He has a very good explanation. He has a very good explanation for why his board is shaped the way it is, and I will say that he had a hold of one of our mid twins before he did that. But I mean, he's got a very technical understanding of what's happening underneath his feet. So he's the type of person that should be designing a skateboard. Because he's going to have money bumps for a specific reason. He's going to have curves for a specific reason. The shape of his tail is going to be that way for a very specific reason. For example, with my shape, I made sure that I had a wider tail so that when I scooped off the edge, it would scoop further. I made sure that there were curves in the center so that my front foot impossibles wrapped around the center. Made sure the curve on the nose made it so I could grab lean and turn with it. And then the curve head of the fishtail made it so I can hook my heel inside the edge of the concave and push it for a power slide. So that was what I designed my shape for while still without losing function. He designed his shape for how he skates and how he wants to skate, and clearly it works. So, and as I said earlier in the live, flight decks, non-wood construction, awesome. Powell's China partners, so that they are very honest about our low quality. But they're very honest about that being low quality. I personally like the feel of an all-wood construction board, and that's where craft boards shine. So that's why we don't do anything that's not all-wood construction. We're real damn good at what we do. So, but if you want to shave from us, you can always do it. Hey, Logan. Hey, thank you, mainly. Honestly, that's a good choice. If you guys want to follow me over at Stranger Casper on Instagram, that's my personal. I do not run the Life Skateboards one, but that's the best way to get contact about the company. That Sam runs that one. But if you're following me over at Stranger Casper, next week I'll be doing a giveaway for some tickets for Coheed and Cambria. This last week I did a giveaway for the Bats, Cats, and Rats tour with Aquabats, Coffin Cats, and Mike V and the Rats. I'll be going to that show on Tuesday. We'll be at the meet and greet. Should be a really fun one. The Coheed and Cambria one is going to be fun too. Thank you. I'm really excited for the things that are happening in the future here. Live Nation just started working with me with this last giveaway, and I'm really excited about it. The participation was up there. And then if this next giveaway goes well, they've got a list of shows and concerts for me to choose from, which is going to be awesome. I saw the Outlaw Kings are on there. You got Bone Thugs and 3-6 Mafia. Pantera was on there. It's going to be a really, really fun year for me because I haven't been able to afford to go to shows like that for years. The last big show I went to was DRI up in Pierre's, and I was taken to that. And then before that, the last big show that I went to was a Tech 9 concert that I won tickets to. So I think it's going to be awesome. This is going to be great. I'm excited. Laura Williams asked, have you ever made a metal one? Nope. That was tested, I believe. I think it was in the 80s. That's how you chop your ankles off. Part of that would be, yeah, I mean, and it's not even about like, yeah, we can round the edge off, because what's going to happen is the rider's going to scrape that tail on the ground until it becomes extremely sharp, and that's when you get problems. Thank you, mainly. That's what I meant. The aluminum decks. Those are scary, right, dude? Scary. I mean, Piglet's a fun one to chase. You have one of the aluminum boards? That's scary. That's awesome, Andrew. Definitely worth some cash. What's up, Kiko? We're on to the last board of the day here. Alright, let me screenshot this so I can clock out at this time later. Kiko said, what size is that? This is the new... Sorry, it lagged because I took a screenshot. This is the new 13.2. Yes, it's gigantic. Yes, we make smaller boards too. Hey, thanks for tuning in from Croatia. We were talking about old boards here. Brought this out on the last live. I sold this to my boss recently. Missing the nose and tail guard, but this is an original Volterra. Talking about those skid plates and copers. And then let's do a little tour here. Sanjay, there's your shout out for the day. Are we back? I just threw my phone. I am so sorry. Everyone alive. I shook you guys up pretty bad. All right. Are we all alive still? I kind of threw the phone full on. That was my bad. Oh. All right, so let's see. You want to see some old boards? Here's a nice old board. Look at that. The trucks are a part of the board that are a part of the bearings. Isn't this cool? Nice little 1970s derby board. So mainly before I hop off of the live here, I will go ahead and show you where the... Yes, this is live too sharp. I'll go ahead and show you the... where we apply our graphics so you can understand why we do just our graphics that we have. Most companies that can do photorealistic images are using heat transfers, and heat transfers suck. Doesn't matter that that's the standard for the industry, and that's what most factories are doing. Yes, it's the easiest way to do things, but it comes at a cost of the quality of the board. It's a 200-degree roller that they push those pieces of maple through. That's not very good for the bond between the glue and the maple. It's also the reason that concave sucks. It's easier to push a flat board through a heat transfer machine than anything else. And there's my rant. Whenever we talk about graphics, I get into a rant on the general industry's graphics. But, so when you're on the website and you're picking out graphics, this is what you're picking. These are hand-carved relief images, and we got a bunch of them. This one actually isn't listed. If you want this one, this is my dog. You just put I want the Lori graphic in there. We got tons of them. Majority of these are carved by Ben Blakely. And what you can do is you can get these as a collage where we just kind of do our thing with it. Or you can just get that basic graphic where you can... Let's see, here's one of those big boards right here. Obviously, big graphic fits on big boards. These guys, you can off-center them. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. And for example, here is a very intricate-ish collage. This one here is my next rider. I'll go ahead and set you guys up on the little stand here. So this is my signature shape. This is my next rider. The last live we did a while back, I did the graphic for this, and then I clear coated it today. If you look close, so the way that that stands out, this was printed twice. So we rolled the background ink, and then printed it in white, and then printed it in black a little bit offset. You guys got to watch that on the live last time. This is so light. I've been shaping those heavy big boards, so that feels real light to me. Thank you very much. This is my baby right here. I'm really excited about this fade that I did with the graphic here. That was really hard to do because you have to do that with brayer rollers. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you. So, yeah, Andrew went and checked out my page. Thanks. Usually when people ask, do you skate, they just take my word for it. So thank you. So this right here would be considered a collage graphic. That's an extra, and I would, please don't quote me, it might be 20 or 25. A basic graphic, which would end up being like this guy or this guy. Just the graphic itself is going to just be the base price of the deck. So that $70 for a popsicle includes a graphic. Thank you. Thank you, Damien. I appreciate you. So yeah, if you're going to get a deck from us, you might as well get the graphic on there. You know what I mean? The price difference isn't anything. And what's really cool about this is the ink is really thick, so you can actually feel it. We use Linoblock specific speedball ink, and the way we do it is get your ink laid out on something, roll it with a soft brayer roller onto the stamp, flip that stamp over, smack it on the board, and then roll it the back of that with a hard brayer roller. The same graphic application process for our boards is what we use for the shirts and sweatshirts as well. So you can get a board that matches your graphic on your shirt, whatever you want. At the end of the day, I'm just going to yell at you, get a life! It's been a long live, hasn't it, guys? Dang, I think total, that's like 3 hours of live today. I think so. I think it is. I might just like hang out here. No, I'm going to go try to skate. Yeah, I should go try to skate, right? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you all. Now remember, there's a playlist on my channel that says watch this for me. You guys boost my watch hours by watching the lives afterwards. My lives themselves just help me reach a new audience, and I just really enjoy talking to you guys. So that's not ever anything I'm going to stop doing, but it always helps my watch hours to push me further. After I hit that 3,000, I'm pretty sure I will be just kind of in a cycle where it just keeps getting hit over and over again. I believe I'm at 2,650 right now. So we're getting close. I think what does that mean? If like 10 of you were just leaving that playlist going for me, I'd be there. So thanks, guys, for all the continued support, and I'll see you guys next time. Think that's going to be in the next couple days. It might be super early or really late at night because I got some side work to get done this week. Have a great day, and I will see do you have any 90s styles skate compilations? Just watch me skate. It looks like I'm from that era. See you guys.